Coming up on this week's show, the Honda Amaze goes up against its two-wheeled sibling.
It was a fun drive, that manual gearbox. Had a lot of fun.
Smooth.
Going up, down, rev matching with the gears, because Honda likes doing that. They make whatever it is, they always drive well.
Renault's updated Captur takes a bow in Mzansi.
The car, it's great to drive, handling is well, the suspension is well sprung.
And we find out if the Mazda CX-5 can hold a candle to its younger rivals.
Somebody with a heavier foot might not really enjoy how slow this car might feel or how laggy it does feel. I would say it definitely does need turbo assistance.
Hello and thank you for tuning into Ignition GT. It's hard to believe that we're only in the last week of January and the automotive calendar is already bursting at the seams with new models coming in thick and fast. Here to give us their thoughts on what's hot and new in the motoring scene is Lawrence Mini and Mpoma Hlangu. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Haven't had you guys together like this.
Yeah, and it's been a while for me, so I'm happy to be back.
New year, new you. Let's actually start with you. What has been new for you in the motoring scene, or what have you been driving recently?
Okay, so I spent my festive season in the Isuzu D-Max, the V-Cross.
Ooh.
And I think it's such an underrated buggy,
Yeah.
very lovely. So I'm keen to see this year how Isuzu continues their momentum in the monthly sales figures.
Did you feel like the interior is like now a bit modern, or have they kind of just kept it
So the model
same?
that I drove is still the outdated model. There should be a facelift coming this year, hopefully. So I think there is a lot of work that Isuzu needs to do, especially looking at the competition like the Ford Rangers and the Toyota Hilux, which is also coming out this year. So if Isuzu can do a lot to modernize the interior, then I think they'll have a winner on their hands.
One thing I love about them is also their fuel efficiency, which is like
Of course.
amazing. So I'm sure you had a good time this festive
No,
season.
definitely, I did.
And you, Lawrence? Any great times in your car? What is new with you? What were you driving?
I have been in and on so many things. I've been in our long-term Ford Transit Custom.
Okay.
Used it for everything you would normally use a double cab for.
Yeah.
And a whole lot more. And then in between that, been on different motorcycles. I had a BMW R1300 RT. The new Suzuki GSX-8 TT.
Yes.
And just dropped off a KTM 390 Adventure this morning.
You've been very busy.
Haven't touched sides since we finished at the end of last year. So.
Which is great, because we're going to hop onto motorcycles now. We continue along with a two-wheel theme now with a shootout with a difference.
Honda is known for having a finger in every single pie, from creating aircraft to outboard motors for boats to boats themselves and ATVs. But the one thing that they're popularly known for are 2- and 4-wheeled vehicles. Today I'm joined by a racing driver. The man is Sichaba. Brother, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, representing 4 Wheels.
4 Wheels, what have you brought today to the fight?
I have brought the amazing Amaze, and this is their latest offering, just a small, compact, little everyday car that is also popular with e-hailing services. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these on your Uber apps and Bolt apps very, very soon.
Look, I'm pretty sure we will, and it is a great commuter. But if you think this is the ultimate commuter vehicle, I've got a surprise for you.
The Honda NC750X is the latest generation of one of the brand's most popular road bikes. Over the years, the NC750 has become famous for its reliability, fuel economy, and practicality for a daily road runner. Another unique feature is the dual-clutch automatic transmission, which makes it ideal for the urban commute. But more on that later. For now, back to Sichaba and the Amaze.
The new Amaze features Honda's latest design language with this really aggressive looking front grille, borrowed from the likes of the Civic Type R. And it's sharper as well with these new LED lights. On the side, we see something that Honda is very good at. That is, at whatever price range, their cars tend to punch above their weight. And we see it here with these 15-inch alloy rims. Coming to the rear, you notice some very, very tasteful additions like this shark fin antenna on the top. We have very tasteful minimalist badging at the back and this really, really distinctive 3D light design. Looking at the side profile, the car has a bit of an odd shape with these super short overhangs, but a relatively long wheelbase. This is going to make sense once we get inside the car. We have this very 70s inspired dashboard with this like panel here with venting effect and these very cool square vents, very minimalistic, very simple, but it works. We have aircon, this cool touchscreen with wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, and these cloth seats. You may think cloth is not the material to go for, but on a hot day you can just jump straight in and you will not burn your back. And speaking of seating arrangements, I think it's time to head to the back. The Amaze has a party trick. The rear is arguably the Amaze's finest feature. We have enormous amounts of headroom. Legroom as well. Again, this is my natural driving position, but I can almost fit an arm between my knees and the front seat. And because the Amaze encourages you to carry a full load of passengers, you are probably going to have some luggage. And there is plenty of room for that too.
All right, so Honda NC750X. It's funny because I have ridden this bike, but the version of the NC that I've ridden is probably 2 generations ago, and the contrast between the two bikes is huge. And the first thing you realize is literally how light the bike is. It feels super light. It just feels like it's got a low center of gravity, especially when riding and cornering, etc., which makes it a very agile bike. That's the beauty of it. Now, we do have Honda's parallel twin here, and I just love the rumble that comes from the parallel twin. And that is the NC. You know, they've really maintained everything the NC750 is known for. We do have ourselves a 14-liter tank. Honestly, I do not know where all that fuel is or sits on the bike, but they've managed to build a 14-liter tank into this. It will give you a range of about 400 k's. 400 kilometers of riding range off one tank. I think you can't ask for better than that. Honda has added an extra disc in the front, and the funny thing is I had no idea that they'd done that until I started riding the bike and I realized that it stops so well. Like, you don't have to fight the front brake for it to stop, and that is because of that front disc that they've added. Should you be looking for a starter bike, would you be able to ride this as a beginner? I think you would. I think this would make such a perfect bike for someone who's getting into riding. It's not too much power, but it's enough. It's more than enough. It's also got that low seating position, which means your feet touch the ground. You are perfectly balanced, and it just works. That is the reason why the NC750 is such a popular bike. It literally just covers all of your bases.
All right, we are finally behind the wheel of the 2025 Honda Amaze. It is only offered with a 1.2 liter 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, so we have 66 kilowatts and about 110 Newton meters of torque. What I can say about the engine though is just how tractable it is. Despite having that relatively low power figure on paper, the engine is super usable. You have plenty of torque to get off the line. You never really struggle. You just need a car to be able to get off the line, keep up with traffic, and be fuel efficient. Honda claims combined fuel consumption of about 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. We have a 5-speed manual gearbox.
it is very usable, very light clutch as well. So even in traffic, this being a manual, you don't feel like you are doing any hard labor. The roads in this area aren't great, and we are barely feeling the bumps. It's just, there's so much suspension travel for one, but also the damping matches everything very well. Oh, we're about to go into a deep pothole. That wasn't terrible at all. Infotainment system works very well. It's placed high in your field of vision, so you don't have to take your eyes off of the road too much. Ergonomics, every single thing is exactly where I need it. Start button, volume, you have physical buttons for the aircon controls. One thing I do enjoy is this driving position. It is quite high, but this enables you to have very, very good visibility outside of the car. Overall, you honestly can't get much better at this price point.
It has been a day and a half of riding around town, and I must be honest, it has been a ton of fun on this. Brother, how was it for you?
I think a lot more comfortable than you. I had my AC, I had my radio, just chilling. But it was a fun drive. That manual gearbox, had a lot of fun.
Smooth.
Going up, down, rev matching with the gears, because Honda likes doing that. They make whatever it is, they always drive well.
What are we looking at for price on that?
Pricing wise, it starts at 255, mid-spec 275, manual goes all the way up to 295 for the full spec CVT. Not bad, like under 300 with everything packaged in. Yeah. How much do these go for?
Well, take a wild guess.
I will say about starting at 130.
Close enough. This
Close
is
enough.
150.
150.
So 150 all in. I mean, non-bikers think this is expensive, but for 150, I mean,
honestly, when we met this morning, I thought, geez, this does not look like entry-level commuter.
Yeah. So 150 gets you in, and these are the options, guys. You could either choose a car from Honda, which is very nice to drive, like Sichava said, or you could go two wheels.
Welcome back to Ignition GT. Thanks to a combination of efficient powertrains, a spacious and well-appointed cabin, and a competitive price tag, it's hardly surprising that the Honda Amaze has made it onto the list of semi-finalists for the 2026 SA Car of the Year. The NC70, meanwhile, has won the prestigious Red Dot Design Award in the Product Design category for 2025. But which one gets the nod from our guests? And I'm going to start with you, Lawrence. Which one gets the nod from you, between the two?
So naturally my affinity leads more towards the two wheels, but I have had the pleasure of driving both of these vehicles.
Yes.
And we actually currently have a Honda Amaze as a long-termer. So everybody in the office has had a bit of a chance to drive it. So yes, I naturally go towards the two wheels. As a commuter, someone who spends a lot of time on the road and in the very heavy Joburg traffic, it's definitely the two wheels for me. But if there was a sedan that you would want to be in traffic, it's the Honda Amaze.
And talk about traffic, you live all the way in Pretoria, so driving to Johannesburg, you're going to be stuck in traffic for a while. Is the Amaze something that you would go for? What kind of appeals to you about the Honda Amaze?
Look, 100%. The Honda Amaze is a really, really amazing sedan. I think it's back to basics, which a lot of consumers do want in a car. If you think about growing up, a lot of families had the Toyota Corolla, the Polo sedan. So I think the Honda Amaze is a really great contender in that segment. Personally, I would go for something else in the segment, like the Suzuki Desire.
Oh!
But that's just my
throwing it in
opinion.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, just before we wrap up the conversation, let's talk about the value proposition of these two, the two-wheeler and the Amaze. What are we looking at in terms of, maintenance plan? What is the value proposition for those two?
Okay, so naturally I'm a proponent for motorcycles, but they're cheaper to run over the long term, but getting into or onto a motorcycle is expensive.
Yes.
There's the gear and the helmets and the jackets and in terms of what they cost to run for maintenance and things like that, much cheaper than a car.
Yeah.
Having the motorcycle as a secondary vehicle is, that's the number one choice. You're still going to need a car, and you could do a whole lot worse than a Honda Amaze.
I mean, especially if you're a family man as yourself.
Yes, and you need to drop the kids at school, you need to do the grocery run and everything. And historically, Honda has shown that they are easy on the pocket when it comes to maintenance. And as we have seen, they are actually very cheap to run. The fuel economy, as you well know, is pretty low. So taking it in for a service, it's also not going to break the bank.
Well, let's move on to SUVs, because with the new SUVs and crossovers continuing to flood the South African market unabated, it's all too easy to forget about some of the more established players in the game. One such competitor is the Renault Captur, and in a bid to make the compact crossover top of mind with consumers once more, it recently came up for a comprehensive makeover. Let's take a look.
When it comes to the product, there's no one that knows more about the product than the product specialist. So, what makes this product so special, and why are all the Renault team smiling so much about this car?
So with this car, I think it's what we call the Renaulution. If you remember Renaulution and Renault Rethink. I think for the past couple of months, we've been hopping on Renault Rethink and want people to rethink the product. It's quite premium, it's quiet, it's a smooth drive. So it's essentially allowing our customers to rethink how they view the car, and obviously attracting new customers that are looking for something special.
This current gen, it brings a bit of feel to the car. So the one issue I've had with a lot of modern cars, especially the unmentionables, they lack the feel we look for. They lack steering feel, they lack brake feel, they lack a little bit of play in an otherwise family vehicle. And for this especially in the Alpina spec, which by the way, I love an Alpine spec, but it brings a bit of character. It gives feel, it gives this flair that I feel we haven't seen in a long time.
Marius, I'll make this easy on you. Of the three in the range, which one do you think competes most favorably out in the current market with so much competition out there at the moment?
Yeah, I think the car, it's great to drive. Handling as well, the suspension is well sprung. I think the model we drove, the flagship one of those 19-inch wheels, although very striking, might be a bit too bumpy. I would say the one of the slightly smaller wheels, the 18 inches, the iconic model, positioned in the middle, I think that will probably be the sweet spot in the range.
It's got the same 1.3, which is a great engine in my opinion, but it's a healthy motor. It's got tons of power, and it feels great through the hands.
It still keeps some of its heritage in terms of staying true to what it is, or its DNA. And that is appealing to the customers that would have had one and wanted to upgrade. They'll get something new and fresh. Yeah, the other one was more subtle. It was more laid back. And I think a lot of people probably might not have noticed it. But this one, trust me, you walk in, it makes its presence known.
The Mazda CX-5 first launched in 2019, and this over here is the second generation. And with so many compact and family SUVs infiltrating the market, this has been outdone and outshone and almost forgotten. What I do want to find out is, does it still have a great value proposition, and is it still a good family SUV? It's very sophisticated, and I do think that it has kept up quite well over these years. Very modern looking, very sleek, and I do like the sophisticated lines and curves that this car has. It has undergone some upgrades and tweaks over the years, but the third generation Mazda CX-5 is expected to launch here in South Africa in 2026. It has recently been unveiled. But for now, this is what we have, the second generation Mazda CX-5. Over on the side, you have new alloy designs that have become available, so you can play around with your wheel designs as well, which is an added extra. Over in the rear, the design has not changed much. You also do have a new light cluster. The boot size is actually quite ample and practical. You have an electric tailgate, and that also just makes it easy when you're carrying a lot of plastic and groceries. Let's jump into the interior and check out what that looks like inside. Very simplistic, very sophisticated. You've got all this leather trim around the dashboard. You also do have a bit of that plastic mixture, so you get that on the side panels as well as in the center. But I do think overall it does look like a pretty neat cabin. The dash area has a perched up screen that we have seen over the years as well, which hasn't been my favorite. It's felt very outdated. I do think that we needed something a little bit more modern, especially in this car. But in the third generation Mazda CX-5, we will see a 14-inch screen. So Mazda has said, you know what, let us keep up with the ongoing trend of big screens. The infotainment system itself is quite easy to navigate. You do have a rotary button over here that you can go through your menu options, entertainment, communication, navigation, which you do need to use an SD card for. But everything else is pretty easy to navigate. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you also can connect quite seamlessly. The seats are very comfortable as well, leather wrapped, and they do have enough support. The front is very open. I do want to check how it feels when we are sitting in the second row of seats. Okay, so this is my normal driving position, and I've got plenty leg room in front of me. Yeah, it is quite comfortable here in the back. This does give you also enough headroom, so it is a fully sized family SUV. You don't have a sloping roofline to sort of eat into that headspace as well. And pocket space behind the seats. Let's take a drive. The Mazda CX-5 is an important car for Mazda. It is the most best-selling and popular model that they have in their lineup, and I really do enjoy this car. I've had it for a couple of days now. Mazda has said that they have worked on the vehicle damping control, and they also have worked on the frame of the car, and that reduces a lot of vibrations that will come in through the cabin, and just gives a much smoother and more quiet ride, and you definitely can feel that as you drive in the car. Mazda is not a fan of turbo engines. They do like naturally aspirated engines, and I do think in this car I would have appreciated just having just a little bit more oomph. I do, however, think somebody with a heavier foot might not really enjoy how slow this car might feel or how laggy it does feel. I would say it definitely does need turbo assistance. So Mazda has claimed a fuel efficiency about 6.6 liters per 100 kilometer. We have been getting about 8.8 just driving in the city, in the suburbs, as well as a little bit of highway driving. So I do think you might get better figures when you're driving by the coast, but here inland it definitely has been stuck for me at around 8.8. 8.6 has been the lowest that I have seen. It's not terrible at all. I do think it has actually showed to be quite surprising in how it sips its fuel. In terms of competitors, we are looking at a wide array of family SUVs, the VW Tiguan, we're looking at the Toyota RAV4, you've got the Hyundai Tucson, the Kia Sportage. So There are endless competitors. Pricing for the CX-5 Active will set you back 570,500 Rand. The Dynamic is 617,900 Rand, and the Carbon Edition will cost you 688,400 Rand, which I do think they're not badly priced at all to get all of that comprehensively under 700k. I do think it definitely does offer a lot in terms of car and family SUV. With the increase in competition that the Mazda CX-5 has within its segment, it is worth noting that the Mazda CX-5 is still quite dependable, has a great cabin quality, is no fuss, and really does offer a great value proposition. And with the newer third generation Mazda CX-5 on its way, who knows, it might just give back its allure.
That brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Of course.
Join us again next time when Ernest gets up close and personal with the Volvo EX90. We get a sneak preview of the upcoming Toyota RAV4 GR in Las Vegas, and I spend some time behind the wheel of a Ford van with a sporty twist.